Right, well, it's Friday and we're on box 23. So, although this is a repair which is scheduled and come in and all that, it's actually a set which is a donation for me. So it's TTI TCB660. I've just dug out the service manual, and it's also come with an antenna matcher which we use when we set antenna warning indicators, so that's a useful gift, thank you. And it's also come with a Moonraker microphone, and that's going to be useful. Also in the box was an AM set from the late 70s from the American market, which of course is illegal and has been sent to me for spares. So we've got a nice power lead, a set that's only just not current, and a radio with on and off volume and squelch, which is just what you want. So, looking forward to seeing what's amiss with it, and we better read what he has said. Two more free radios, TTI, and just needs checking and adjustments. The others for spares, but it works. Well, I wouldn't know that. And I will go into that in another video. There's something about stickers on it. So this is what we're doing today. We do have a. Well, I'll tell you what else has come in. I've told you we've got a PE Ranger come in. That'll be in 2 videos at least, because it's going to have to be evaluated and then parts ordered. We've got a Midland 76900 flagship base station, which has had the kiss of death and has been 80 channeled, which has wrecked it, which it usually does. Never seen one work properly after that illegal modification. I just don't get why people did that. You know, £369 radio, and all you needed to do was to buy at the time a set for CPT, which would be a lot less than wrecking your Midland base station. Right, longer than usual leads on these. We can only get 3-meter leads, and I think they could only get 3-meter leads at the time. So, without further ado, we'll connect it up to the test equipment. So yesterday was that realistic 1001, which worked out all right. I'll just connect this to our trusty short-circuiting crocodile clips. Put the realistic power lead to the right of the test set, along with the other walkie-talkie one. When I was at Nottingham Radio, customer rang up, and a potential customer said, "Do you do them talkie-walkies?" Yes. Somebody came into the shop with a piece of paper. "I want some Colax." Another one came in with a piece of paper which says cow wax, COW-WAX, cow wax. That's one of the things about working in a shop, the fun you can have. There was a vacuum cleaner shop a couple of doors up, and a bloke came in with a vacuum cleaner. No, I'm telling you wrong. No, there was a sewing machine shop further up the road, and that kind of stuff. Some person came in really cross, slammed down these sewing machine needles on the counter and says, "Every one of these is broken." So I kind of pushed them out of the shop and pointed to the shop 3 doors up. Right, well, what we'll do, somebody suggested we use a pre-printed tick-off list. We've actually got those. I printed them off in 1982 or something like that. I must look in my drawers somewhere, and but I write writing on bits of paper. It's much more professional. I just do. You know, it's all part of being a tight Yorkshireman. Right, test set on. It's been on more than half an hour, so whatever it says will be true. We'll put picture on. There we go. Has it appeared? Yes. And we'll power up this set. I'm not expecting it to be faulty, as in short circuit, so we'll put it on straight at 13.8 volts at a 1. Oh, it's a modern set. I'll turn that to a 2.5 amp current limit. Switch on. So let's see what happens when we press that button. Okay, nothing. So it's on UK. Put it on channel 20. And let's press transmit. Let's see what power we're greeted with. Oh, we're greeted with 2.5 watts. Deviation. Wall. It's 2. Hang on. Wall. It's 1.9 to 2.2. That will do if we can't get any better, but I'd like it to be 2.2 to an absolute maximum of 2.5. Is it on frequency? 79125. It's not off frequency, that's neither here nor there. But we'll pull it up if we can. Well, I think that's covered that. Let's go into receive. Right, we'll go over to the synod meter. See what we've got for 12 decibels. 0.75. So you know, it works. It's about as good as it probably was when it came out of the box. So we'll open that up. We'll use the other screwdriver. We've changed the background music. As I've told you before, I've got a collection of Reader's Digest boxed record sets, which I do enjoy playing as records in the format as intended. But we also, and I haven't finished this, we've copied across, I think it's 107 sets by doing one record a night for the last 2 years, over to memory card, I'm going to say in general, which of a type that the background music system selects can work with, and it's been set to play random. So you don't know whether it's going to be grand opera, whether it's going to be classical, or whether it's going to be, well, it came up with Gary Glitter the other day. So, you know, you just really don't know, and I do enjoy, well, not the latter, but I certainly enjoy the randomness of that. And so what he's done is he's been messing with the master memory cards, and he's been putting the meta tag data for the titles and that. And we'd place some of this in the car on a different memory stick, of course, and it works absolutely perfectly with the car, but it's not showing the actual track title on the Monocore player. And the trouble is, when you look at, and these are like £480 players. When you look at other players, none of them actually say that they do display any file information at all. So even if you've got 500 quid to spend on, say, the Toa one, you've no guarantee that it's going to show data any better than. It's just absolutely bizarre. We'll have to have an old Nissan Leaf dashboard and as a background music system. Right. I think, is this unpluggable? Yes, it is. Well, that's nice. That's a nice touch. So you're getting a smaller speaker than you did on the older sets. What are they? 2.5 inch when they were always 3 inch. I don't think that's a Acai really. It's a Chinese pretend Acai. So it looks like we've got some receive adjustments here. So we've got the service manual, and it's a TDA 2002 by the looks of it for the audio. That's going to be the regulator transistor and all your transmitter stuff. Just have a look under there. It's got some miles on it, that's true, even though they're not that old. Well, they're about 2014, something like that. They're only just not current. I think TTI seem to have withdrawn along with Intech. You know, they've been and gone. They were on the market for about 15 years, and they both seem to have disappeared. Although that TTI hand portable was relatively recent. So it's supposed to do sensitivity is under 1 microvolts for 10 dB. Well, we're at what did they say, 0.75 for 12 dB. So we're already better than that. And again, 20. If I did 20, let's see if I can. See if we can get 20. For 20, I've got 2. But you know, if I go to PD mode on the test set, 20 is now exactly 1 microvolt. So you don't know how they're expressing it, but I always use the harder to achieve parameters. Well, we're not going to adjust the VCO because it's pointless. But this is a downloadable service manual. I will have downloaded it at some point. Transmitter section. There, if you do it on 19, you see, they're assuming you're going to do it on CPT sets of channels, but we're not. We're optimizing for the UK set of channels. Said to you before many times at CPT, well, sometimes you get 3/4 of a mile range. It's that poor in this area with foreign interference. Some people might enjoy foreign interference and try and talk back to them, but most of these people are going to be on illegal burners and all that kind of stuff, so I don't want to talk to them anyway. 701, 702, 703. So we need a layout. Now in the realistic manuals you'd have had a quick layout. Changes glasses. 701, 702. 703. Okay, so that, yeah, you can't get it. 703 is fixed anyway, so it means you'd have to undo the screening and fiddle with the coil, which is not something which is ideal at all. So we'll put up with whatever we get. I would have thought there was an overall power setting. These are actually labelled. It's going to be that one for power. Yeah, we'll set that a bit higher. So it's doing 4 watts. So we'll do that. Because this will have been optimised at the factory for CPT, so we're going to get a bit more out of it for UK, and we're actually turning the coils down a little bit. So now we've got 4.2 watts and it's already warmed up a bit, so we'll drop this to, don't ever put these on full whack. There's a point at which it'll go from, oh, I'm showing you the wrong meter. So we're now on exactly 4 watts, but with the power control at full, as you can see, we've got 4.2 watts, but there's a point at which I turn it quite away and then suddenly it drops, and that's the point to get it set to, because that's when it ceases to be saturating the output. You do not want anything on full whack, just like you don't want to drive your car with the pedal to the metal. Now, do these have a meter? No, there's no meter at all, so that's great. It suits me. I was going to demonstrate that the meter makes no difference whether it's at, because they're pre-programmed on most modern sets, whether it's doing 4 watts or whether it's doing 2 watts. So the frequency adjust, CT302, well, I would expect it to be that, but that's 301. I think there's some lying going on. .301. I mean, that's got to be an error, because it's going to be 302. Right, here goes. We'll keep it at that, just very, very slightly high, because they drop with age. Now, deviation. And they call it FM mod. Going back to the service manual, it's, I think it says RV4. They tell you about AM mod. Well, we won't be looking into that, because that would mean reprogramming it for CPT, which we're not going to use. And this channel is all about UK FM. It's not about CPT FM, and it's not about CPT AM, though we sometimes have to go into that when a customer asks us to do so. So it's RV401. So again, we're not doing it on channel 19 CPT. We're doing it on channel 20 of the UK. So we're in the centre of the band we want to use. They want it to be 2 kHz maximum, which is ridiculous. It needs to be 2.2. So again, we'll use the Korg Chromatic TM50 tuner. It is not a guitar tuner, it's a chromatic tuner. Somebody said you can use a mobile phone for doing this. Well, what happens if you haven't got a mobile phone? What happens if you don't want a mobile phone? Have you, you know, you go to a shop and people just are fiddling with mobile phones. You have to, it looks like you have to constantly fiddle with them. Wow, whoa, that's, how did that be so high? Oh, gone and upset the squelch like a wally. Let's try it there. Wallow, it's still too high. Wallow, that's better. Because if it's too loud, it's just, all that's going to happen is the filtering on better sets is going to just chop it. So you know, it's only on a Fidelity 1000 that a set that over deviates is going to sound better. Anything with half decent filtering will cut it off. It'll cut off the edges, like putting a fat chap through a small door like me. So ignoring that we're doing it on AM because we're doing it on FM, because we're using the sine nav meter, which they're not, we're going to start with L109. Which is clearly the detector. L109. I'm going to put 1 kilohertz. I am. That's the tone. I'm going to put 100 microvolts on the signal generator. Turn the bench light off. And pop that across to the oscilloscope and turn the volume up. So we have a sensible trace like that. And then we've got to find L109. It's going to be that one or that one. So go back to that layout. 109 is that one. I'm going to have to get another trimmer for these. I don't want to use a screwdriver. I'm going to... Don't ever do this yourself. Just finish it off with that one, which is too small. Right, let's set that a little tiny bit out. Now we'll go to the cyanide meter and we'll do the rest on there. So it's L101, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 12. I suspect those are probably some of those, but they're actually fixed. 101, 3, 4, 5, 7. I've already forgotten. 101, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 12. 101, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 12, which I suspect is the AM detector. So we'll probably only just touch that. So what I want on the cyanide meter is 4 dB, which is about there, because we don't want to be saturating the receiver. No difference. I don't think these are adjustable, but you never know. No, they're kind of factory set and glued. Just turn the squelch now. Put a bit more signal on. That's the peak with that one. And that's the peak with that one. Yeah, that'll be the AM one. We don't need to touch that. Well, there's our 12. Let's read that off then. So we're on 1 and between 7 and 8, exactly halfway. It's exactly the same. So no difference whatsoever. It's going to be a little tiny bit clearer because I did gain something on the detector. So that's fine. And it's well within. That's now 2.2 to 2.5 kilohertz. And actually there's no other... We've covered these before, so anyone needing to know how you change the bands to CEPT or some other countries, a MultiNorm set, well, you can download the instruction book or look at my previous video. I don't expect it's covered in the service manual. You've got the circuit in there, how to connect up your test gear, which is, you know, not everybody's going to be aware of that, and some of the better service manuals will show the signal generator into the antenna jack and a power supply, and then across the speaker they've got an AC level meter, a distortion meter and a cyanide meter with an 8 ohm dummy load, and all that's in the test set. And then we have that external cyanide meter, only because the one in the test set doesn't work properly. And if you think we're going to strip that down when the rest of it's working, we're not. So you've got some nice circuit descriptions in the manual. So they don't go into how you change it, but it's one of those where you press something while switching it on. Probably that one. No. Probably that one. No. Probably that one. Probably none of them. Right, well, we'll leave someone to read the instructions. We're not needing to alter it. So that's it. It was just a straightforward tune-up. So let's have a look at what we ended. Oh, we need to do the squelch, because yours truly messed it up, didn't he? So let's see how the squelch is on full. Is this one of these with an auto? No, suits me. So I'm going to turn the squelch to full and hope that it comes in at a 100 microvolt signal. So there's 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts, but it doesn't come in. In fact, it never comes in, but that's me. I've adjusted it. I don't know how it was presented. There we are. That's exactly where we want it, coming into 100 microvolts. So that's unmessed up my cock-up. So now we will turn the squelch right down. See, I'll just see how far we can listen down to, because it's all right saying it does so many microvolts with the sine. I can hear down to about 0.2 of a microvolt there. So we'll do the opposite. We'll switch the signal generator to standby, set the squelch to threshold, and a bit more, and switch the signal generator back on, knowing it's parked at 0.3. Straight in. So this is actually trying to come in at 0.12 of a microvolt. Dropping off at 0.09. You know, it's nearly off the clock, that. So that's very good received. It's going to be definitely loud and clear around Scratchy Corner. So that was one of the more straightforward ones today. So let's just go through these again. AM mod, which we're not touching. Automatic power control, which we did in conjunction with tuning up the transmitter. FM deviation and squelch. You can see it's crystal filtered as factory standard. We've set the frequency, and you know what? That's an okay radio. I don't even think this model's microphonic. I'm going to turn the signal up to 100 microvolts, turn the tone off, volume up. No, it's not microphonic. Not like the 881, which can be. So it hasn't got public address or anything like that. It's got a blanking plate in bung, shall we say, in the hole that says S meter. So clearly another set using this case, this chassis, not the electronics necessary, but the physical chassis, must have an external S meter facility, but it's not on here, so it's blanked off. Oh, it's one of those, is it, which slots in. There we go. We'll unplug that, and let's just make sure that this internal speaker actually works. I'm going to pause the video and put the thing back together. Right, we're back on the aerial, and we're about to have an avalanche of boxes. I wonder if this has got a way of changing this colour from this blue to something else. I wonder if there's a menu which does that. I think between now and the on-the-air test we'll have a look at the instruction book online. I'm sure there's one if we haven't got it on file. So it's chuntering away in the background. This will be 35 miles away plus at Nottingham. One on a Roger. No. It's an up-down mic as well on this. Notice when you change channels, it takes about a quarter of a second to lock, like a lot of new sets do. Right, well, I'll leave that on and we'll do an on-the-air test at 7:30 this evening. So thanks for watching the TTI TCB660 from about 2014, and thanks very, very much indeed to the donor of this. That's greatly appreciated, and we'll cover the stickers on that other set in a future video.